All right, guys. So this is part two of me talking about very smart picture, a picture that I told y'all scares me, and how high IQ people, we desperately look for other high IQ people. You know what I'm saying? And I told y'all this guy, Greg Maddux, this guy scares me. You understand what I'm saying? But let's play this, guys, because they say something very specific coming up in a few seconds that I want to pinpoint. Let's push play.
At the last split second, it would break across the inside corner. Oh, and he could also throw a front door two-seamer that could do the same thing to left-handed batters. Number 2, the control. To make the most of the late-breaking action on his pitches, Maddux needed incredible control. He used to say that the best pitch in baseball is a well-located fastball. An accurate fastball sets up everything else after all. And he could indeed throw his two-seamer pretty much wherever he wanted, which was especially useful in the 90s when strike zones were seemingly bigger than ever. He would take an inch off the edge, and if the ump gave it to him, he'd keep getting further away. Number 3, the pitch arsenal. It wasn't just the fastball Maddux could control, after all. He could throw every pitch in his arsenal, his circle change, his curve, his slider, his four-seamer, perfectly in the center of the smallest of targets, while also changing speeds in subtle ways to both frustrate hitters and throw off their balance. Number 4, intuition. There were times when it seemed like Maddux didn't just have control over the mound, but over reality itself. For example, one time Braves manager Bobby Cox visited Maddux on the mound with runners on first and third and 2 outs. He suggested that Maddux intentionally walk the batter. Maddux told Cox that his plan was to get the batter to hit a foul pop-up to third base on the third pitch. Cox returned to the dugout, and Maddux somehow managed to do exactly that. The history of Maddux is littered with stories like this. Here's another. Apparently, he once told center fielder Otis Nixon to move back and to stand just on the edge of the warning track and not move a muscle. The batter hit a ball directly at Nixon, who then told reporters the story, noting that he barely even had to move his glove to catch it. Number 5, the mental edge. Part of Maddux's hold on reality was in his preparation. He was able to read hitters and exploit their weaknesses, then file that information away for future use. If Maddux struck you out in April, he'd remember exactly the pitch sequence he had used so they could get you out again in September. There were also smaller, more subtle things that added up and made Maddux even more impressive than your average hurler. While many pitchers waste a pitch trying to get a batter to chase on an 0-2, Maddux would instead attempt to throw a strike that would induce weak contact, almost as if the count was still a 1. He might not have gotten the strikeout, but he would get the out overall and throw fewer pitches doing it. Another thing that Maddux said that he did in order to get a mental edge on certain hitters was to let them have some success against him, usually in a spring training game or in a situation where his team had a comfortable lead. That's right, he would intentionally help hitters grow overconfident against him so that when they faced each other in a more meaningful situation in the future, he had the upper hand. Maddux also believed in what he called stealing strikes. He would study which batters would let him get away with the first pitch strike in certain situations. He said there are several circumstances in a game where a batter will just give you a strike, and you have to take every opportunity to exploit that when you can. Greg Maddux retired in 2008 as one of the best right-handed pitchers in the history of the game, being elected to the Hall of Fame on his first ballot. His number 31 has been retired by both the Cubs and the Braves. What's more, his career totals that he spent 23 years accumulating are absolutely nuts, and likely will never be reached again. 355 career wins, the most of any modern pitcher since Warren Spahn, 5,000 innings pitched, 18 Gold Gloves, including 13 in a row, and a streak of 4 consecutive Cy Youngs at one point. That's why we at MTC believe we can confidently say there'll never be another Greg Maddux. Thanks for watching, everyone. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video.
That's it, guys. He's the best pitcher of all time, as far as I'm concerned. So, some of y'all probably know why the reason I played this, and the point that I was going to pinpoint. Maddux kind of reminds me of myself, especially when he was talking about how he gave some of the hitters success in spring training, only to demolish them when it really counted. And obviously, he had a massive data bank up there. He had a intelligence, call it intel. He had a superior intel processing chip up there. That's why I told y'all this. I told y'all, this dude scares me. He scares me. You know why? Because he reminds me of myself. You know what they said? They said it's almost as if he had control over reality itself. It's almost as if he had control over reality itself. That's scary, guys. Because maybe he did. You understand? At least in the baseball, a man, We all got different playing fields out here, and we only can use what God gives us. You know, we got to be the best at it, best we can at it, whatever we doing. But that's what it was like when I used to watch the games, guys. I used to be really, really angry when I used to watch Greg Maddux games because I wanted somebody to hit the damn ball, and it just never did. And I remember watching a Greg Maddux game. It used to actually get me really upset because I couldn't understand why nobody could beat this guy. It was like the umpires couldn't get him. I said, I mean, he would throw strikes. As the guy mentioned, in the 90s, the strike zone was bigger. I just felt like it was not fair. I remember before, like, I wasn't even a full baseball fan yet, and I was already getting upset that it wasn't fair, about it not being fair. And I'm laughing to myself thinking about that because I'm like, you know, I wasn't even a baseball fan like that in '97, and probably some of the first full matchups I watched was the Cubs facing Greg Maddux, and I just remember getting so upset. I knew this dude was controlling reality out there. I didn't know what it was, but I said something is off about this certain guy. Because, you know, I seen other games and I didn't see other pitchers have dominance. Like, it seemed like this guy controlled the whole game itself. And it really, really pissed me off when he did that type of stuff to the Cubs. I mean, just thinking about it, I used to literally want to throw something at the TV. I wasn't even a full baseball. I wanted to throw something at the TV. It made me so mad that this guy, and then he'd be coming out the 7th inning after the 7th inning stretch, and I'd be thinking he's got to tire down at the 8th inning. Nope, it'll still be like 2-0 Braves, and it didn't look like nobody was hitting. I mean, it just got me so upset, guys. I had to usually turn the game off before the 9th inning came. I couldn't take it. I couldn't understand how this guy had control like that over the game. I just could not understand it. But that's part 2 to this guy. I don't know if I'm gonna make a part 3. Maybe if I come up with something else. But yeah, it was like he was controlling reality itself out there. They only hit the ball because he let them hit the ball. Stuff like that. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.